here is Brower and welcome to my new part of the sound design series. Today I want to have a second look to the dual VCO and let's go. So the first thing I want to try is a wobbling sound which gets a little shift in with the filter, so we get a classy wobble sound, I call it. And we always start with the dual VCO. So the first is to get enough expand to reach the time. We have to expand the decay, so we have enough time to wobble. So let's stay at this point. Maybe this is, yeah. Okay, we got a basic sound, and let's detune the oscillator too. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, 5. No, it's not the fifth, but here we can work a little bit. This will work, that's fine. Let's shift a little bit the balance. No, not too much. Don't shift the balance. So let's lower a little bit the volume. And we start with the filter, which makes it very important. And we take here the bandpass filter to create the wobble sound. We have to go so anywhere in the middle. So that's a good point to start. It's a very bright sound, so we start with the filter to get a little bit resonance, and then move the filter slowly from one side to the other. So we don't need the envelope, but we need the LFO at this point. Let's sound the resonance a little bit so it gets more richer. So you hear the resonance of the envelope and lose the LFO on the filter. So we got here on the frequency, but not too fast. Maybe it's the 8. And it always has to restart so you can reproduce your sounds. Not too much, maybe 10, it's okay. Or maybe 10 is too much. So, and then we a little bit shape the decay so it's not too long. And put a little bit overdrive in. Not too much. Lower a little bit the volume. So we used very clean oscillators so we can play with more overdrive, and let's make it more interesting. And a little bit reverb. Can use it all the time. So we get a nice wobbly sound. Maybe this note must be another one. So we can work with that. Okay, let's go to the next sound. Now I want to build a sound which is a little bit EDM style. Let's have a look. It has to be a sound like a little bit, I say, a kind of Tomorrowland. So we need to pitch up the oscillator 2. So we get second octave plus 2 notes. Then let's shorten the oscillators both so that we get a short sounding this way. And now we got that don't has the richness we need for the sound. Let's have a look what different sounds we can have. Something with ring modulation is always great. Okay, that's too hard. Yeah, that's more better. It sounds like the way before, but with a little bit more harshness on it. So let's have a look what we can do now. And what we need is the filter, of course, and classic. We have to shape this kind. Let's close it and then open it again. The envelope of the filter is a little bit tricky, I think. So let's try to use the LFO as envelope, and maybe it can repeat a few times, not too much, but so we can jump in a little bit with this sound. And we set it to trick and use the saw so that it gets pew, choop, choop. I don't have the right word for that, but it don't has to be too fast. So let's lower the speed. Anyway, maybe a little bit faster than four steps. So rise up the 64. You can check my other LFO tutorial. So if you use 8, it has exactly four steps. But if you raise it to 12, it's a little bit shorter. So you get maybe on the third step or in between of them. So now we can hear this. Oh, and of course I have to set the destination to the filter frequency and rise it up. Let's shorten a little bit the decay. And let's go to the envelope page and rise up a little bit overdrive. Add some reverb and a little bit delay. Maybe that's not the right sequence for that. And maybe we can add also a little bit of the envelope. So let's tweak it a little bit. A little bit more sustain at this point. So with the rhythm, it's very hard to make EDM clean sounds. It's always a little bit rough. And here you get only an idea. It could be EDM, but it isn't really. So maybe you can set up a higher octave. But also usable for techno. It's rough enough. Let's jump to the next sound. Now I want to build kind of bell sounds. I don't know the correct name, which gets very high, and you find it in most hypnotic techno tracks where you get very high bells, which always ping, 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 ping. And something like that. You can also use the dual VCO. And of course, it's a rhythm. It's always a little bit more rough than other synths. To get these bell sounds, we have to tune the first oscillator very high, and the second, of course, too. Take the max, and then we get a short sound. It's always short when you have some bells or something like that. We work with one of the FM configurations of the rhythm. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Crazy. One short, one right. Maybe the second one will be a little bit shorter. It gets more digital if you raise up the decay. It's because of the FM algorithm. So if you shorten the second one, you get more from the first one. And that sounds like a kind of FM bell. So maybe that's a little bit longer. Great, works perfect. So, but we can tweak it a little bit more. So we go to the filter and let's use a high pass filter. Maybe the first one will work for that. And open it a little bit. So that's in the right way. Rising up a little bit resonance, not too much. When you rise it too high, the filter starts to sound. It's very fast starts to sound, but it will work. And then we go in the negative way. Sound this. And you hear that there's this wobbling a little bit, and that's not so nice. Let's cut a little bit the decay. Okay, maybe not that a little bit less resonance. And here we go. And to make it even brighter sounding, of course, we add reverb a little bit and more of the delays, so we get this ping pong thing. And then we can even rise up more of this and make it a little bit crunchy without the overdrive, because if you use the overdrive it gets very harsh and it doesn't sound like a bell anymore. And of course we have to shorten it. Sorry, got it. So that it don't get too long. Maybe this. A little bit less delay. And we go to the LFO and we have to work with a sine wave that sounds more harmonic, and we set up to the pan, and from my LFO tutorial you know that can make a little bit noise and rise up the speed here. Maybe that will work. And then let's have a look. So what to get? It is very harshness sound. If you like this, if you want to shorten this, that it don't get too dominant for your sound, you can use the fade out. And then you have just like another sounding on your bell, but if you like it more cleaner, you can put this out. Sounds very nice too, but to get it more in the techno way, add a little bit of this crazy pan. And let's go to the next sound. So now I want to work with on I don't know, it's more an atmospheric sound. It's a little bit spooky, and of course we have a very powerful engine. But yeah, let's dive in. It's become a more aggressive, spooky sound, I call it. And we raise up the first oscillator, and the second one can be on the same tune like the first one. And need a little bit longer decay. The second one, yeah, let's have a look. A little bit longer too, but not so long. And then we need one of these crazy algorithms with FM and ring modulation. So let's start with this here. It's very aggressive. Let's have a look. Yeah, that sounds really cool, spooky. but without this strange syncing. Becomes more shifting. And then let's have a look. We got and focus on the first oscillator. Could be also a nice sound, but not where we're working on. Maybe this is a nice idea for the sound. And we can try with pitch bend. Maybe 1 octave. No, that's not so cool. Just a nudge. Just a nudge of pitch bending, and then you get an extra spooky. Yeah, I don't know another word for spooky. It's a light weird sounds, which brings you in a very atmospheric way when you can get you more substance to your techno track. Okay, let's tweak it more. Just switch in the filter. We don't want to cut anything. It's very rich. Maybe in the post production you have to tweak it a little bit with an EQ. But at the rhythm at the moment we can work here with the peak filter, and to get it more swifting, and let's make it a little bit crazy at this point with much resonance here. Got maybe this. Okay, that sounds weird, but not the weird way we want. Not in a good way weird. We have to stop because it's got an feedback loop. And so we can we shorten this. Yeah, let's short it now, because maybe later it's become to a feedback loop and then you get crushing your boxes or something. So, and then it's over. But to keep it more interesting, we have to tweak it a little bit, just a nudge as before. And we use the expression waveform on the LFO, but in the other direction. If you check up my my LFO tutorial, we can see if you raise up the speed in the negative way, LFO direction of the envelope swaps to the other side. Just need it once, and maybe let's have a little bit faster so that we hear it. Maybe that's fast enough, and put it on the frequency of the filter. So now it starts on the wrong side. Let's start on later time. Maybe here, so that's should be in the middle of this waveform, more at the end of this waveform, and then goes in the other direction. So you get expression ramp, I think. So, and let's have a look just a little bit. Yeah, that works a little bit faster. 32. And maybe it starts a little bit later. So you got the main tone from the dual VCO and the second tone from the multimode filter. And let's glue it together with some overdrive. And of course lower down the volume at the amp. And then we can some add delay and reverb. Yeah, maybe 50 on both sides or 60 on both sides. And it's got this nice weird spooky sounding, and if you work it on the track, you can do this in this way. Just use a higher pitch envelope to get it really freaking out. Okay, let's move to the last one for today. The last thing I want to build is a kick. It doesn't sound so exciting, but we have here the full range of the opportunities of these both oscillators, and why don't use it for the way we want it? And it gets little bit more flexibility, like the normal kick engines. And let's dive in. So to first we have to tweak both oscillator very low. Let's put it on the lowest one we have. 70 will work. It's kind of standard at this point. And of course we have to bend it. So we got, yeah, that's not now a little bit too low, but we will tweak it. Just give me a second. We here work with one of the FM algorithms. Maybe this will work. Yeah, we come in the right direction. Yeah, that sounds for me great. And then we let's tweak the first oscillator. And now we got really deep kick. Yeah, that's great. A little bit more volume to push the amp. So to hear this kick, we have to tweak it a little bit more. So we start with the LFO and put it in the one mode and set up the expression way, and maybe speed will be fine, and we set it to the oscillator 1 tune, so both oscillators will tweak this way, so we got this punchy pitch envelope, but we do it in a tuned way. So let's do it with 32. Let me guess, this must be, well, 8 semitones more. We can work with 9 or 10. Just try it with that. I've tried it before and it sounds very great. Yeah, that's cool. Can rise it a little bit up, so we get with 48. That would be 2 octaves. Sounds nice too, but I want to work with 32. That's for me enough. So let's have a look. We have to use the filter, of course, and sweep it a little bit so that we can get more punch in the initiative of the kick. So let's tweak it here for a bit. Maybe that's too. Yeah, that's great. Maybe we don't hear it enough from the rest of the kick. Just switch to the other low pass filter. And then, of course, add some overdrive. Now we can a little bit shorten the range of the kick, so it gets more controllable. If you wanna use it just with another kind of rumble on a techno track, or just use it for another idea of a track, you can shorten the kick. But if you put it a little bit longer, you hear that the second oscillator is just running under the first one, and it gets a nice rumbling sound, which you can use at this point. If you lower a little bit the overdrive, you get more from the punchiness, or you can even higher up the tune of the pitch band. can also open up. And now you got a very more flexible kick than you expect normally from the engines, but it sounds great too. Why not? I'll add a bit of reverb. Great. That's are my 5 more ideas for the dual VCO. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe my channel. Stay tuned for our tutorials. Let a like if you like this video and leave me a comment if you want to have more tutorials or sound design ideas. Thank you and good night.